next anime was DonTheVan season 2, which, like I said, we're gonna go over season 1 in a bonus episode. So obviously spoilers for season 1 in case that happens, just to let you guys know. But yeah, so if you haven't seen season 1, you might want to go watch season 1. And oh, I guess we should say this at the beginning of every episode, but yeah, go watch season 1. So this season kicks off literally right at the where season 1 ended. Uh,
I honestly
so what's up?
forgot that season one ended like that because I was kind of annoyed at how they ended season one until season
Yeah.
two opened, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they just cut off season one."
No, nah, that yo, whoever's in charge of like their direction, yeah, they need a raise. Like whoever like is directing this and like making sure the story is going the way it's going.
Yeah,
I'm in it, bro. They need a raise all the way. There's perfect, perfect. They have perfect cliffhangers, but it's like it fits. I don't know why. It's just weird and like it fits. So I'm in it. I love it. Anyways, we start off with Momo Ayase, who, yes, she has the same family name as our Blue Ranger in Time Force. Yeah. Anyways, it's a little Easter egg. Anyways, okay, so Momo is in the hot springs with the. Well, we don't know this at the time, but I know it, so I'm gonna say it to make it easier on myself. With the Keto family men. So, pretty much they're trying to take her hostage and
sure.
do devilish to her.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I don't know. They're creepy. So
Mm-hmm.
they're like the aliens where they want my boy. They want my boy Ken. I mean, Okuron. They want his banana organ. They want her. So pretty much, she's like fighting them off. I she doesn't really get a chance to use her psychic powers. To be completely honest, and I think Turbo Granny actually saves her in like some roundabout way because like the whole hot spring like kind of hotel place explodes as like she's like fighting them off and whatnot, and so yeah, that happens and like it explodes. The owner comes out and he's like, "Yo, what are you guys doing with my hot spring? Why did you destroy it?" And then Momo, she's like getting out of the water. She's like, "Yo, I gotta get out of here." She grabs her bag, but like she looks over and she sees Turbo Granny, which is how we figured this out. And she's like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" And she was like, "Bro, it's not my fault you don't be paying attention to nothing. I just snuck into your bag." Yo, he sneaks into the bag every single time, and I don't know why they don't check the bag at this point. Like, that should be the first thing you check to make sure Turbo Granny's not with you. But I digress. We'll get back to it. Turbo Granny's like, "Yo, I snuck into the bag. And you idiots don't check the bag. And like now I'm here. I'm enjoying the hot springs. Look at you having your fun and whatnot. But yeah, sure, whatever. They pissed me off, so I saved you." And so I think Turbo Granny has a little soft spot for Momo. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're cool friends. They I feel like Turbo Granny just doesn't want to admit it yet. You know? She just does not want to admit it. But well, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna see some development there. Anyways, that's like a little prediction. So basically, as they're leaving, it cuts to Octoroon and his name is Jin, but I guess Momo calls him Gigi. I'm gonna call him Jin. You know what? I'll probably switch it. Whatever. So Jin, them two, they're in Jin's house where he lives, and if I'm not mistaken, they were trying to like Jin brought Octoroon and Momo there to exercise whatever demon or spirit is living inside of the house. And so at the end of season 1, Octoroon and Jin kind of put a hole inside of one of the walls, and like they saw this room with like a bunch of spirit tags,
Seals.
seals, with
Yeah.
a bunch of seals. I was close. I was close. With a bunch of seals, and pretty much they're like talking about that, and I guess they're not really having like a super deep conversation, but there's a knock at the door, and that's I think where season 1 ended is with the knock at the door. So like we're hearing the knock at the door. They go check the door, And then there are these ladies who look similarly like the dudes from the hot spring pool. And so basically, they open the door. We find out that that's their house, which is the Keto family house, and they've like taken in Jin into their home and allowed him to stay there, and pretty much been watching over him. And they're all weird. Like they're weird. The ladies are eating candy and like playing some type of game. I don't even know what game it was, but pretty much they're like, yo, who's this guy that's with you? And he's like, yo, this is my friend. And then they're like, yo, don't lie to us. And like they made like a really big deal about lying and whatnot. He's like, no, 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 seriously, this is my friend. And that's cool. And then it kind of cuts out to Momo running, and like the keto guys chasing her still, or they're getting chased by the cops, and like they're running all over the place. And then Momo happens upon like a temple or like a shrine to like the Great Serpent, or like a museum or something like that. It's like an attraction, like a tourist attraction where people come to visit and like they learn about the Great Serpent. And so she's like talking to the dude. She's like, "Yo, this is the Great Serpent. Okuron would love this. It sounds like something he would like. I'm gonna tell him when I see him." And then the dude's like, "Yeah, no, we just made that crap up just because people are into it." And she's like, "Oh, okay, great." And so after she learns that it's a made up story and that it's just something to bring people there, she starts to make her way back to to Jin's house. And so we cut back to Jin kind of talking to the ladies, and they're like, "Yo, don't lie," or something like that. And I forget exactly what happened, but they're talking, and as they're talking, one of the old ladies is like, "Yo, something something cops." And then there's a knock at the door. There's always a knock at the door. And then it's the keto men and also a cop at the door. And this is where we find out that they have some cops under their pay or like in cahoots with them. And also where we find out that these are the same guys from the hot springs pool, and that this is the entire family unit. And so pretty much the guys are like, they come in and then they look at Jin and Octoroon. They're like, "Yo, who's this kid?" And then Jin's like, "This is my friend." And then one of the guys is like, "Oh, really?" He's like, if you're really his friend, who's his favorite football team?" And then Jin is like, And then Octoroon's like, I don't know. And then like he says a name, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you are his friend. Welcome." And pretty much Jin's like, "How'd you do that?" And then Octoroon like literally looks over to the left, like to like a giant poster with the football team on it, and he's like, eh. And so I was like, of course. And so they're like chilling, they're talking, and then one of the ladies is like, "Oh, Jin, is that girl gonna come by the house?" And then Jin's like, "What girl? There's no girl." And then she's like, "No, there was a girl here earlier." He was like, "No, there's no girl. It's just me and Octoroon." Like, what? Oh, that's what it was. They were like, "Yo, you better not be bringing no more exorcisms around the house to like get rid of these demons and whatnot." And Jin was like, "No, I promise, he's my friend. These guys are not the exorcists or anything like that." That's what it was. And they were like, "You better not be lying." And that's full circle back to this point. It's like, who's that girl? And everything like that. And everything. And he's like, "There's no girl." And she's like, "You're lying to me. You shouldn't be lying to me." And like literally the whole family is like in on this, and they're like, "Oh, you're lying, there's a girl." And then they literally like beat up him and Octoroon, Jin and Octoroon, and like they're knocked out cold. And then Momo appear she arrives at the house, she knocks at the door. Like I said, there's always a knock at the door. And then the guys answer the door, and Momo's like, "What? You're the same guys from the yeah, from the hot springs." And so she comes in, she starts fighting off people. She has her psychic abilities now, so she's like using psychic hands to smack fools around the house and whatnot. But there's too many of them, and then like they kind of like overpower her and whatnot. And like she sees that Octoroon and Jean are like knocked down on the ground. She's like, "What?" And they're like tied up and like their clothes are off. It's really weird. But like they're in like their undies. But she gets knocked into like the she like fights the head grandma lady of the keto family. And like, yo, this chick is like crazy good at like kung fu and martial arts. And she's like, like she's literally like doing weird stuff with her hands. And like, hey, I ain't gonna lie, she put a whooping on Momo. But she kicks her through the little hole, like the little busted out hole, into the room with the seals. And she's in there. She's like, "What is this?" And she can feel the spirit energy. And then Turbo Granny's like, yeah, this isn't good." And then this is where we get a huge lore drop of like the Keto family, and pretty much they've been making sacrifices to the Great Serpent, which, um, like the people in the village used to make sacrifices to the Great Serpent because of the volcano that was nearby, and they thought that when the volcano erupted, that meant the serpent was hungry, and so they thought that if they made sacrifices, it would keep the serpent from getting hungry, and so we learned about this in the temple actually, and the dude was like, "Yeah, nobody makes sacrifices anymore. It's a load of crap." But we find out that the Keto family has been making sacrifices this whole time, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys are gonna be our sacrifices." So pretty much, they're doing all that lore dropping, and then they're fighting, and for whatever reason, I think the granny, not the granny, not Turbo Granny, but the other granny that's kung fu ready. She like does something, and like I think everybody like kind of piles into the room, and the floor drops out of the room. I don't know why the floor drops out of the room, but the floor drops out of the room in this house, and they pretty much everybody falls into the giant pit abyss that apparently has entire houses under the house, and it's a giant chasm. Octoroon and Jin kind of come in now. They're trying to save Momo, and pretty much they're down there fighting. Um, it's really weird. They're like, "Yo, this is like literally the den of like a giant serpent," and then like when they see the giant serpent come up, I was trying to figure out what it was. I forget the exact name of it, but it's like a.
Death worm.
I'll say it next time. But it's like a giant worm, like an earthworm type of thing.
Yeah,
But
death
they
worm.
call it a death worm, yes. But I'm trying to remember the culture that it's from.
Uh, it's where is it from? I remember this because there's a song about it.
Yeah,
Death worm. I forget.
it's I don't know. Anyways, it's irrelevant. I just thought it would have been a fun fact to know. But anyways, the giant death worm shows up, and then literally the Keto family does this weird
Mongolia.
like Ginyu Force.
Sorry.
Huh? What?
Mongolia. It's a Mongolian death worm.
Okay, that's the first thing I had in my head, but I was like, "There's no way it's Mongolian." Yeah,
No, it's
okay,
Mongolia. Yeah.
it's literally Mongolian. I should have just said it. Anyways, so the Mongolian death worm, but like I said, they show up, and then the Keto family does like this weird Ginyu Force thing where they're like chanting, and they're like, "Oh, death worm, we are the Keto family, and we're your loyal servants, and we have brought you this sacrifice." Huh. And so they start doing this weird thing where they run in a circle, and like uh our three main characters are just kind of like watching over the ledge of the house, and the earthworm is like, "Yeah, screw," and like eats everybody of the Keto family. And this is where like Momo, Jean, and Octoroon are just kind of like, "Oh yeah, we need to get out of here like ASAP." And so wait, how did they get out? I don't remember how they got out. I don't actually remember how they got out.
They didn't get out. They're still down there.
They're still down there, so the episode ends with them down there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Ooh, okay, I thought I missed something for a second. All right, cool. But yeah, that's pretty much that.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my rough overviews of these two episodes. What do you think about the DonTheVan episode?
DonTheVan. I thought it was a pretty good return back to form for them.
Yeah.
Freaky as always. It's borderline like unwatchable at some points, but it's a good show overall. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It pushes the boundaries, but it doesn't go take it too far for me at least. Let's see what else. We can start with the opening. The opening is what was it? On the Way by Aina the End.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't talk about the opening.
It was really good.
It was
Well,
really good.
I knew we would talk about it afterwards.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make us talk about it.
I was a little nervous. I just wanted to kind of get through it a little bit.
You have a good memory, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, we can start with that. The opening was, I thought it was pretty good. If I had to rank them, I would still put Otoko no Ke ahead, but like
Yeah.
it started out, I was like, no, this isn't doing it. And then as it went on, I was like, okay, it's
Okay.
getting better. And then it kept going. I was
Okay.
like, okay, you're getting better. But I
Yeah.
don't think it still reached like the first opening heights, but it's really
Yeah.
good. I want to find the full version of the song and listen to it, but I like what I
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah. I thought it was cool that they continued the whole like DonTheVan thing where they
Yeah,
just say the name inside of the song.
yeah,
Because at first I was like, oh, they're not gonna do it. Like this is just gonna be a whole new song, and they're not gonna do it. It was just like a first thing. Creepy Nuts was just awesome for doing that. And then I heard it, and I was like, oh, I said, oh, this is a thing now. Let's go. And now I'm super invested in the songs for the future.
but it's one of those things that you can kind of put in different. You can use it different ways. I think uh, what is it? Black Clover also did the same. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever seen that show, but I think a lot of those openings also mention the show's name inside of it
Mhm.
in little weird ways.
Okay.
So I think it's one of those things. But Dun Dun Dun, I think, has an easier way of doing it because you can like put it on the beat. You can do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was very creative. I enjoyed
yeah.
it. Heck yeah. All
And
right.
then the ending was Doka Shiteru by Wirtz. Wirtz, I've heard some of their music. I don't know what else I've heard from them, but the ending was cool. The animation
Mm,
for the opening was also pretty good. I think
mm,
they do a good job kind of matching a vibe with the like they're telling a story with that opening without kind of spoiling everything, which I really like.
yeah. Hmm.
But I think they do a good job kind of telling a story with the opening and matching it to the music, or vice versa, the music matching the opening. But all in
Hmm.
all, I really enjoyed both the opening and the ending. If I
Yeah.
had to rank the endings, I'm not sure which one I would put above the other one.
I gotta hear it a couple. I gotta hear it again.
Yeah.
I don't. I might have skipped the ending this time. I don't think I listened to it.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Normally I listen to the endings though, but I don't think I did this time. I think I watched it and then I went straight into Time Ranger.
I don't know. I might have to give it to season one again.
Yeah, season one was pretty solid. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna hold you. Season one was solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So,
I think I heard the beginning of the ending, and I was like, it's not season one. And then I said Time Ranger.
yeah.
Yeah,
But other than that,
yeah.
I really enjoyed the episode. A lot of action in it. Um,
Hmm.
just straight back into it, like nothing's happened, which is an interesting way to. I think it's a pretty cool way of doing it. It
Hmm.
annoyed me at the ending of the last season, but now I'm just like, okay, we're in it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it. Let's go. So
yeah,
interested in seeing what's going to happen next.
yeah. This might be my favorite way for like a season, like a show to like do their seasons is like to end off literally like that, and then to come in immediately like right back on it and not do like a time jump or anything like that. Like I think it might be my favorite. Like I don't know, for whatever reason, I just really like when shows do that. I don't. It makes it more cohesive, especially if like you're coming back after the fact and like you get to watch it all in one go. It's like you don't feel like you miss anything. It's like just another continuation of like the episodes, and it's pretty cool. I think you gotta really like it has to be like really well done for a time jump to make sense,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Yeah. So yeah, I like it a lot. Okay. I thought this was a pretty solid episode also. I think I thought it was gonna go in a different direction as far as like the room with the seals. I didn't think that it was gonna be dealing with a giant death worm. Uh and I wanna know, I guess, if it's gonna be like a situation like in season one where they had um not the UFO, but I think when they went to Momo's grandma's house and they broke a seal and an alien showed up. I wonder if it's gonna be like that. Like now that they broke the seals, what's gonna happen? Or maybe the death worm is there because they broke the seals. I don't know. But like if something shows up.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't even know what those seals really did because it seemed like it was down there and they were going to send whoever they had down there to him anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe that is to try to keep him down in the basement.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
wish Turbo Granny would have said more about it because she looked like she knew what was going on a little
Yeah.
bit more. Maybe, maybe we'll just have to find out in the next episode of Don to Don.
Yeah.